This 4-hour chart, as we go into the week ahead, is going to, I think, be potentially the catalyst. The thing that helps us answer that question we've been asking, is it different this cycle around? We've waited years for this 4-hour chart to play out, and I think this week is the week. I think after even just this exact move, this move to the upside right below the bull market door area, this week ahead on this 4-hour chart, I think will answer the questions. In this video, I want to discuss the upward momentum that could potentially make it different this time that is kind of happening right now before our eyes. And I wanted to talk about altcoins, ADA, AVAX, Solana. If this occurs and Bitcoin gets continued upward momentum prior to the halving, I want to talk about targets to the upside for altcoins and how explosive of a move we could be getting ready for the entire crypto space. So hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's just jump into the video. This is the 4-hour move. I think as a foundation, I just want to mention we were tracking the kind of inverse head and shoulders playing out in Bitcoin. We had the move to the upside. This was the case to get Bitcoin to, at the very least, start knocking on those Bitcoin bull market doors again, and it happened. Going over to the daily zoomed out chart. Many of you know, I talk about it nonstop. It's just the topic of conversation for me in terms of technical analysis. Bull market high to bear market low. It's the Fibonacci bull market doors. That's what that is. It's a retracement area. We want to see Bitcoin break into the parabolic bull by breaking those doors. Right now, what I want to point out, and this is just before we talk about the bullish momentum upwards, how that might happen even this week, I want to just throw a little caution out there, really, really briefly. We have this test coming back down and then kind of a test again right at that area. I just want to point out, if you look at last cycle, kind of a similar thing happened, right? Bitcoin tested those bull market doors, came back down, and then tested it again. That's the caution. Be careful, because there's no definite thing that is saying, you know what, Bitcoin's just going to keep going higher. We're going to break the bull market doors. There's a possibility we could be rejected again right here at this $48,000 region and start trending down as we did that last cycle. But what I want to point out is this, before we talk about this one thing that actually might just set this cycle apart from the rest. And I discussed this briefly in yesterday's video. When this second rejection was happening, you can see Bitcoin was starting, it had the first rejection, and the second rejection, it was just mainly just starting to fall, right? Momentum on Bitcoin was starting to fall. Well, this time around, check it out. We had the first rejection, which was on the RSI here. The second rejection, we have upward momentum on Bitcoin right now. Right now in this moment. That's why I say this week ahead in the 4-hour, this move on the daily, we're getting upward momentum on the RSI, the momentum oscillator. So there's a case, Bitcoin just, maybe it consolidates on the 4-hour a little bit more. There's a case we do go higher. There's a case we very simply see $50,000 this week. And so I want to discuss what could potentially be driving this. And it's this. I just saw this post a little bit earlier. I thought the spot ETFs would get a bit weaker as GBTC outflow subsided, but they're getting stronger. Another $500 million day beyond GBTC bleed up to $2.7 billion net rolling flows and $10 billion in total assets under management. IBIT now at $4 billion in asset under management with $500 million in volume yesterday, second day more than GBTC. Put aside the repeating cycles of crypto and Bitcoin charts and the bull market doors, rejection, going back down, consolidating until after halving. Put that aside. That is what happens time and time again in the cycles, but time and time again in the cycles, we didn't have this happening. We did not have this happening. And so this could be the catalyst that just gets Bitcoin through those bull market doors sooner than later. Even if Bitcoin prior to the halving maybe consolidates a little bit, and then we're going up into the Bitcoin bull market doors prior to the halving sooner. Even if it's not breaking through just monumentally through these bull market doors up to around $57,000, if Bitcoin just starts breaking into it and trading within it, that is something Bitcoin has never done. If this happens, what does this mean for altcoins? Wait until you see the targets for altcoins in the shorter term, the short to midterm, meaning not waiting as long as maybe we would have had to wait in cycles past. I want to look at targets on ADA, AVAX, and Solana. And before I do, everybody, I want to give a shout out to Coinledger, today's sponsor of the video. And I want to show you something very briefly. I'm logged into a demo account. I have Cardano data back here, but I want to add an account. I want to add some MetaMask. I want to add a MetaMask wallet, I guess I should say. And so all I'm going to do is I'm going to manually import. I'm sorry, not manually import. I'm going to auto import. I'm going to click the wallet address. I'm going to paste the demo address, and I'm going to upload those transactions. And I say this in these demo videos, depending on, I guess, what file you're uploading or the API you're bringing into from an exchange or the wallet that you're importing in this case, the time for import will be a little bit different. But you see how quick that was, 102 transactions. I want to add one more account, Coinbase, and I want to, we have one in here. Let's just let's upload a file, browse file. There's the Coinbase demo. I want to upload that. And this is obviously Coinledger. They're a sponsor of CCV. They have been for years. I've been using Coinledger for years. But as I'm doing this and showing this, I'm literally showing you how this system makes taxes possible in minutes. I just did it. I just imported MetaMask. I just imported a Coinbase report, and I can go to transactions, and they're all here. I just want to say, imagine having to do all of this manually. You see on the screen all of these transactions that are here. Imagine just to have to track them manually, file the report to the IRS and your taxes, having your CPA do it for you or help you with this. Look at all of this. Nonstop, right? And then you go to tax reports. I just did this in a minute or so, and all the data is back here. And you can click, you know what? Hey, what was my short-term? What were the short-term transactions? There it is. And you can literally go through this. I only imported some demo data. There's not a ton in here, but this just gives you an idea. Now, what I want to say is, what I just showed you in minutes, this is all it takes to, number one, likely save a ton of money and a ton of time. But number two, because I know there's people out there, they think crypto is still just some wild, wild west thing, and there's not enough tools to even track stuff. I'm not going to do my taxes, people are saying. I'm telling you right now, you need to do your taxes. I encourage all of you, don't have that mindset. Don't sleep on doing taxes and reporting crypto transactions. Do them. Do what is right, because you need to do taxes. I just want to say that right out the gate, because I know there's a lot of people out there, like, they still have this mindset. And I think at this point, with how mature crypto is, it is so essential to get this right if you want success in the crypto space. And I just want to encourage you all, hit the link below, get 10% off. Here's the pricing straight up. You can get started, and you can kind of start using and just seeing how this works. But look at this, up to 100 transactions, $49, and you have your crypto reports. Up to 1,000 transactions, it's $99, and you have your reports. And then a pro is $199 plus, 3,000 plus transactions. So depending where you fall in this, everybody, special shout out to Coinledger. They have saved me so much headache, so much time, so much money in terms of doing my tax reporting. So I encourage you to sign up with them as well. And thanks, Coinledger, for sponsoring the video. Let's talk about some altcoins. This is a very simple example using the ADA chart. I'm going to show you the bullish scenarios in this video, meaning Bitcoin still continues to go up, and altcoins are going to continue to go up as well, because crypto it's just happening earlier this cycle, if that's the case. I want to just, as an example though, if there's failure, if Bitcoin fails at the bull market doors, and this doesn't happen, it's not different this time. It's still in play. I think this week will be decisive, a defining moment this week. If that happens, then you know what? Things like ADA, we have consolidation areas. It's a 20-week moving average, 50-week moving average. They look different on all these altcoin charts, but just be aware. There's continued downside in play. There just is. ADA could fall to the 30s. And, there's different patterns in play. There's different throwbacks in play. They look different for each altcoin. But just know, in terms of looking at these charts, there's downside available, right? And that would be actually the normal thing. But I want to talk about because of what's going on. This, this ETF data we just looked at from Eric over here. By the way, he's a Bloomberg ETF analyst. I want to look at altcoins. Let's start with ADA, and I want to talk about something. And this is really as it relates to Bitcoin and the move that just happened for Bitcoin. I started the video kind of on the 4-hour, and here's what the 4-hour looks like. We were looking at kind of this consolidation. You see this region, Bitcoin was just consolidating, inverse head and shoulders, broke out, right? If you go to altcoin charts, it's very interesting to see a very similar dynamic. And Bitcoin dominance this last few days has kind of been just in a different environment, more bullish environment, because you can just see something like ADA, an altcoin, it's gone up on the 4-hour, but you can just see in terms of this general consolidation, similar to Bitcoin, it hasn't had that breakout to the upside, right? You go to AVAX, let me zoom in, and then we're going to start zooming out on the charts and talking about really big targets, but we're going to talk about short term first. Something like AVAX. AVAX a little different than ADA. It has broken this trend line area, but not that big breakout yet. Something like Solana, very similar to AVAX. Just slightly above, but really not that big breakout. Pretty much all of these altcoins are still in this general consolidation area, right? But let's look at this now. ADA target to the upside. If ADA can get the breakout out of this trend line, target to the upside around 65 cents. And I'm going to discuss why that's notable right now. And then we'll go do AVAX and we'll do Solana. We'll do one at a time. So ADA, short-term target, right, would be 65 cents. Why is that notable? Well, because if you zoom out, we will have this more midterm pattern, this more midterm structure setting up. We had all of this rejection back here around 65 cents. ADA fell. And we're putting in this kind of lower trend line. You can see it hobbling around on this lower trend line, a couple higher lows there. If ADA makes a move back to this upper trend line, we have really an ascending triangle in play. One of my favorites. And here's the Bitcoin halving, right? Ascending triangle in play going into Bitcoin halving. So short-term move to the upside in play, right? On the short term. But on the midterm, even if there's more consolidation, even if there's more downside and just challenges, right, for altcoins in the short term, meaning we hit resistance and we're coming back down, we have an ascending triangle in play. And this could be the story, the bullish story for ADA in this case, with a $1.20 target to the upside going into halving. And again, this is a more midterm pattern that's potentially setting up here, but you can just see how this could play out, right? Right around halving, going into halving. $1 plus ADA could be sooner than later. So that's this bullish case. If Bitcoin's going to continue this move and things are different this time, that's the bullish case for ADA. First target, 65 cents. We have a target of $1.20 for ADA. We zoom out, we still have the 85 cent target for ADA that we've been tracking out of this bear market formation. And if we go to ADA right now, just look how this could play out. 65 cents short-term target, consolidation, 85 cent out of the breakout, pull back to the ascending triangle upper trend line, and then continuation to $1 plus. This could be the bullish environment for ADA right there. Now, we go to something like AVAX. It's just a very similar story, very similar structure happening. And I want to point something out. Things like AVAX and Solana, you can just see that they have a little bit more powerful momentum behind them. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're newer. They're newer than ADA. That's why ADA charts have a little bit more powerful momentum behind it than Ethereum. And this is how crypto works. I think that's a dynamic that is worth understanding. But AVAX target to the upside around 50 out of this kind of setup pattern that it is in right now. Putting aside this, and even on the ADA chart, you can just see very similar kind of inverse head and shoulders to Bitcoin. Bitcoin pretty much hit its target. So $50 AVAX target. Is there resistance? Consolidation? Is there going to be some type of triangle on the more midterm in play, similar to what we just saw on ADA? Breakout target for AVAX, if this were the case, around $100. So we have $1.20 for ADA. We have $100 for AVAX. Going over to Solana, similar story, everybody. Kind of this inverse head and shoulder setup. Target to the upside around $140. Different kind of structure happening for Solana, as you can see. Maybe more of a rising wedge. And these are some of the most bullish patterns in a bullish environment in crypto. You go look at a bull market, you see a lot of times these rising patterns, these rising wedges, breakout target for Solana, 250. So for Solana, we're looking at from current levels, if this played out, right, going into halving and post-halving, we're hitting these targets, 130% for Solana. You go to AVAX, we'd be looking at from current levels, if it hit this more midterm target, 150% gains for AVAX. And if we go to ADA, from the current level, we're looking at, if it were to hit $1.20, 120, 130, I guess 125%, 120% gains for ADA. This is this next stepping stone, right, for these cryptos. You zoom out and you can see, you know, if this was the case for something like ADA, as we're zooming out on a chart, say it is hitting $1.20, right? Obviously, you know, time frame wise, not exactly sure when it would happen, right? But just for reference, Bitcoin halving right here, maybe it hit $1.20 a little bit after Bitcoin halving, right? Maybe it took until July. Let's just put it July, $1.20 July. I know a lot of people want that sooner. It could happen sooner. I'm just, for demonstration purposes, this is the stepping stone into bull market territory, right? And that's exactly the point that I want to make. These are stepping stones. And so it's all kind of happening right now on the zoomed out, this macro roadmap for crypto as Bitcoin is knocking on those bull market doors. It's why I track it so much. It's why I talk about it so much. Again, caution. You can see there's that resistance once again. Very similar to the resistance we just saw around a month ago when it first was knocking on these bull market doors. So going to track it. I think it's a really big moment for crypto this week to see what happens with Bitcoin now. Goes higher, or do we start falling? And is there that true rejection similar to what we've seen in previous cycles? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. I appreciate you watching. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.